everyone, it's Nicola again, and I thought I'd go off piste a little bit now and show you some of the stuff that I really enjoy on YouTube. YouTube's great if you pay to have the ads removed. It becomes just like your own very specific television station, and you can subscribe to things. And I don't know what the YouTube algorithm makes of me, because I subscribe to all sorts of things, from survival stuff to finance stuff to reaction videos where people are reacting mainly to sci-fi movies. Also, I refer to YouTube every time I need to do something. I learned how to replace the plug in my bathroom sink when that kept clogging up. And I'm just about to embark on changing a screen on an Apple Mac computer. So that's a lot easier than it apparently appears, according to a YouTube video. I've got all the kit now as well, so we'll see what happens. If it works, I'll be replacing an Apple Mac glass screen for about 30 quid, which is rather marvellous, isn't it? But the one thing I wanted to talk to you about today was the rise of grown-up YouTube, as I call it, which is there's a whole swathe of more mature YouTubers. I've picked out some of my favourites for you today. So let's share my screen and I'll walk you through them. First is Richard Vobes. Now, Richard Vobes is just the most lovable character you can come across, and he's got a partner now called the lovely Julia, who's also really nice. And I know they're nice because I've met them for coffee. They live just along the road from me in Worthing. I came across Richard when we were looking for stuff, because I got a bit obsessed with DIY at one point, and Richard was DIYing his house. And so my sister and I started watching him, and she'd actually met him a long time ago because he was friends with someone she knew who was in the arts in Worthing, very big art scene in Worthing. I know you wouldn't think so, but there is. Anyway, so she knew him. I liked the look of him, and we watched him doing up his house for a little while. And then he put out a video reacting to one of Neil Oliver's videos on GBUs, and his channel completely exploded. Now, he's got 3 channels. Let's just show you which ones they are. There's a Richard Vobes channel where he talks about current affairs and gives his opinion. He does it in a monologue, which is not scripted as far as I can tell, and just completely off the cuff. But he did used to be an entertainer, and he was on TV, so he knows how to do this stuff. He's also been podcasting for years. So he's got the Bald Explorer and the English Couple. So the Bald Explorer is from when he used to go out rambling in the countryside and visiting farms, and the English Couple is when he and Julia go out for adventures. So they're very nice people, and they do lots of different things. If you want an update on what's going on in the world, then come to his main channel. He has really good interviews with people, and so you're going to get much more informed about what's really going on in the world than you would by watching mainstream TV, that's for sure. Okay, let's go to number 2. Right now, my sister laughs at me because I've started watching people who live alone. I seem to be a bit obsessed with that at the moment. I think it's because I live alone. And I always wanted, when I was a kid, I always wanted to, be moody and magnificent and live alone somewhere. But when I got to the point where I was thrust into aloneness, against my will, as it were, when Steve died, I wasn't really very happy with the idea, but I've settled into it now, and I really quite enjoy it. So I love not having to be considerate of anyone else at all, which is something after bringing up 2 children and always being surrounded by lots of family as well. So I do welcome my downtime, my alone time. So, but what I've started doing is watching lots of people on YouTube who live alone as well, because I find it absolutely fascinating. And Sean James Cameron is a chap who did live in London, and I actually came across him on the Richard Vobes channel, so I think they're friends. And I came across him on that channel. I went over to watch him, and he literally just moved back to his hometown in Wales. And he was setting up home, and he was setting up an allotment. And I'm a bit obsessed with allotments as well, having started to grow some spindly old tomatoes on my balcony right now. I'm looking at them, pathetic little creatures they are because of no sun. Anyway, so Sean James Cameron is very restful, very gently spoken. He's got a lovely Welsh accent, and he's putting together a brand new life in Wales and making friends and going out and buying furniture and just doing really gentle, laid-back pursuits. So if you want something that is very restful and relaxing and calming, then I would suggest you watch Sean James Cameron. It's a great channel if you like that kind of thing. And what else we got? Right, so I'm also a bit obsessed with people who live in Portugal. I desperately want to buy something in Greece, but the place in Greece I go to is it's a bit like the Algarve of Greece, so it's very, very expensive indeed. And when I found out by accident that you could buy farms in Portugal for 10,000 euros upwards, I started becoming very interested, because I really quite like the idea of having 3 to 5 acres and living out on my own. But that would be pushing living alone like further than I've ever done it. So I've started watching lots of Portuguese homesteaders. I really enjoy the combination of DIY and gardening with beautiful scenery and lots of lovely animals. Really like that a lot. And I could give you, in fact, I might do a separate video with all my Portuguese homesteader recommendations. But one of the ladies I've started watching recently is, do you know, I can't remember her name, I'm so sorry. But it's Solo 50 Plus Adventures, and I think she's just rebranded. And she was house sitting for 2 years, so you can watch all her back videos where she's house sitting in different areas of Portugal to get a good feel for where you might want to go and live yourself. Central Portugal, North Portugal, it all looks absolutely wonderful. So on now to someone who's living alone in France, and it's called Going Solo in France. You see, there's a bit of a recurring theme happening here. I might call mine Going Solo in Shoreham. Or start a new channel where I'm just talking about living alone. Going Solo in France is an interesting chap. He moved to France, he bought a place in France and visited it for a couple of years, and then finally ended up going out there. I haven't gone all the way back to the beginning. I like to see people's backstories, so I really like it when they have a start here video and they tell you how they ended up where they are and why they made the decision to go. So for all you solo YouTubers out there, then your audience needs an orientation video, because we need just a quick, you know, a quick bit of background about why you're there and what you're doing and what made you make the decision. This chap's a chap called Mark, and he's absolutely obsessed with gardening. And when he first moved out there full time, I think the farmer put a very grumpy little Shetland pony in the field next to him, and he started feeling quite sorry for it, so he made it a shelter. And then he started looking after it, because it was a really sad little sorry thing indeed. But he's now working himself up to getting a dog or a cat or both. And he's putting in fencing around his absolutely glorious place in France. He's made it lovely. I mean, if you see the before and afters, and he does sometimes show before pictures, which I really enjoy, then you'll see how much he's done to the place. But he's doing some very strange things with the interior. I mean, don't get me started on him taking out his log burner and relying on electric heaters. I mean, he seems quite awake as well, so why he's relying on electricity, I don't know. The world's about to go all Mad Max on us. But anyway, enough of that. Go and have a look at Mark in Going Solo in France. I really enjoy that channel. Right, so now Cindy Vine Portugal is an older lady. I haven't watched many of her videos, but I'm getting pretty hooked, because she's about the same age as me, as far as I can tell. And she's very well known among the Portuguese YouTubers, and she does lots of amazing videos, and she's got lots of incredible animals, including quite a few pigs, I believe. But I'm very, very impressed with anyone who A, lives alone, B, moves to Portugal from another country all on their own, and C, DIYs a house and brings up animals. It's amazing. So go and check out Cindy Vine. She's one of the OGs of the Portuguese homesteaders. Now, this is a new one on me. I've just started watching, and this is what gave me the idea to do this video, because Silver and Solo is a retired lady who lives in America, I believe, and I don't know where yet, but she talks about really good topics for people who are just sort of, I don't know, newly alone, for example. Let's just go down 7 tips for managing your money, living solo and loving it, new habits for life, don't waste time. Popular videos include start doing these 4 things and thrive at living alone. And you can go back to her early videos and see how she's come along. She's really got the hang of it now. So 8 things I can't live brackets alone without. So really, really interesting stuff. Really enjoy it. And she does sort of Sunday vlog, which I think is a catch up of everything she's done during the week. So it's instructional videos, informative videos, and a vlog type video once a week. Now, if you're a bit more of an arty bent, then you'll enjoy Beneath the Surface. This is Josh, a guy in his 50s who's exploring life and what really matters, and he's doing it with his very talented and beautiful wife. They moved from America to France. They didn't know they were going to settle in France, and it took them a long time to find their ideal home, which they've just moved into. So it doesn't look like it needs much doing to it to me, but I'm sure he'll find otherwise. And so I enjoy watching him because he's quite a thoughtful chap and he's got an artistic background. So I sort of vibe with that. And I really enjoy watching him exploring why he does things and why he feels things and why he thinks things. He's very articulate emotionally. So if you fancy some of that, then go over to Beneath the Surface. Oh, it's Beneath the Surface YT. Now, this is how I got started. In 2020, I was running on adrenaline and I really wasn't feeling very great at all. So I started watching survival videos because they made me feel better. And like if it all went really tits up, I could survive in the woods alone, which is just hilarious to think about. But yeah, one of the big first videos I started watching was My Self-Reliance, which is Sean James. And he's also got a channel called Sean James where he talks a lot more because there's not much talking going on in My Self-Reliance. So basically, I've watched him build 3 log cabins now from scratch. And the third one is absolutely beautiful because he's put all the lessons he's learned and the things he did wrong. He's got a gorgeous dog called Callie, a golden retriever, very fond of golden retrievers. I really enjoy watching his stuff. So the My Self-Reliance channel is basically him doing stuff around the homestead. He's also big on gardening and he does quite a bit of hunting, shooting and fishing. So if you enjoy beautiful scenery in Canada, because that's where he's based, then I would certainly go and check out My Self-Reliance. And if you want to know a bit more about Sean and why he does what he does and his thinking behind it, then you could go over and watch some sort of 2 years alone, sort of time-lapse kind of stuff. And also his thoughts about why he's doing what he's doing, which I always find really interesting. Right, onto the money now. So there are lots of YouTubers talking about money. I really love Bob Moriarty. He's not, I don't think he's got his own channel, but he regularly pops up on other people's channels. Lynette Zhang is a force of nature. She is amazing. And I really enjoy one of the young ladies from, oh, what's it called? No, I can't remember. A really beautiful and clever young lady. And she, oh no, the name, I hope the name would come back to me, but it's not going to come. Daniela Camboni. That's it. It did come in the end. That's the thing about being this age. She's got her own bug out shelter. She's very, very big in the gold and silver world, and she knows a lot about macroeconomics. And I really enjoy her stuff. So talking of other women that you should check out, if you see any interviews at all by Catherine Austin Fitz, then I would highly recommend that. She's very, very shrewd and knowledgeable. She used to she comes from a very good family, born to go into the Washington elite, and she did. And then she found out what was really going on, and she was, I don't know whether she was kicked out, whether she left, but she really now spreads the word about what's really going on in the world. She's got a website called Solaris, Solari. But if you see any interviews by Catherine Austin Fitz on YouTube, stop and watch them immediately. She's absolutely brilliant. So you could even do a search on YouTube to find some of her stuff. So I don't think she's got her own channel though, but she's all over YouTube if you search. Coming back to Lynette, she's so funny, she's so dynamic, and she really does tell it like it is. I think she's maybe from New York. She's got that kind of accent, and she's absolutely amazing. Highly recommend her channel. And finally, on that topic, Manico64. He's retired from the city. He used to work in the City of London, and he really has got an incredible handle on macroeconomics and also personal finance. So I would check him out. He can go a little bit more into the stock market, a bit more than I'm interested in particularly, but he knows all about gold, silver and Bitcoin. So I would definitely check him out too. I hope you've enjoyed my romp through what I call grown-up YouTube and the channels that I personally like to watch, spanning quite a range there of topics. I haven't found anyone older who does sci-fi reaction videos yet. I've started my own channel for that, so do go if you're into sci-fi and spooky stuff. I haven't gone down the horror route because it does scare me a bit living alone. Okay, so my YouTube channel for all things alien, UFO, UAP, etc. is Nicola Cairncross. So just a link to it on this channel down on either on the left or the right. I can't remember wherever they put the links. As I was talking to you, a load of other people popped into my mind, so there might be a follow-up one. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you're going to go and check anyone out. I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.